what is my reaction as of right now when it comes to Casper? Because clearly, way below a cent as of right now. And now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, again, what is my reaction when it comes to that? Well, at first glance, it may not seem like such a good thing. And of course, how can it if it is having a pullback? But my kind of mindset is this. Literally, I'm not even talking about a year ago. I'm just saying back in May. The price of Casper was around 1.8 cents, right? So nearly 2 cents, basically. So with what I'm seeing as of right now, that's what, around a 3x from here? If I take a look at, for instance, something like Bitcoin, going to 300 grand, with it right now being around 90 grand, that's slightly over a 3x from where it is as of right now. Casper, just going back to what it did back in May, is around a 3x from here as of right now. Now, historical performance does not mean that it's going to happen in the future, right? It doesn't guarantee anything in my perspective, but at the same time, when I take a look at it, the market cap is around 80 million. It's not a project that has like billions in market cap where it needs this massive amount of volume to do this or do that, in my perception. So when I take a look at something like this, I get it. It hasn't been doing the best whatsoever, but kind of my perception was that I was not even minding dollar cost averaging into Casper back in May. And if I'm seeing what I'm seeing as of right now being around 3 times lower, am I going to suddenly mind? Again, if my intention is a dollar cost average, probably I won't mind. But at the same time, if my intention is not to dollar cost average, then yeah, I would mind. But I'm saying my intention is to dollar cost average as of right now, even though I am not telling anyone to do anything. Granted, people like to say there's too many layer 1 blockchains. What makes Casper any more unique or any more interesting than the other? Well, I don't think anything necessarily makes it more interesting or more unique, because at first glance, when I just take a look at a layer 1 blockchain, like let's say just a lot of my friends out there, they're not necessarily going to know kind of the difference between Casper as a layer 1 blockchain versus Algorand, other than Algorand just being more popular, more famous. So, in a sense, Casper isn't really reinventing the wheel. I think when it comes to the space of layer 1 blockchains, it's just a layer 1 blockchain that doesn't have a market cap that is as massive as like an Algorand, for instance, or let alone like an Ethereum. That's the way you take a look at it. So, is Casper going to become, this top layer 1 blockchain? No, I don't think so. But does it really need to, in my perspective? I mean, even if this just went to $1 billion in market cap for whatever reason, that's like over 10x away. Like, I'm not even saying it has to have these groundbreaking sort of achievements just because the market cap is pretty low. Now, something being low in market cap doesn't mean it will do anything actually during an altcoin season, but from what I've just seen, just even back in May, like, even nearly 2 cents was already almost achieved. Granted, it's not doing best even back then, but comparatively to right now, even if it just went back to the May levels, it's not something I would necessarily complain about too much, but this is just my perception. Like, personally for me, by just dollar cost averaging, I am aiming to bring my average cost down. So if for whatever reason the market has a recovery for the altcoin space, which who knows, we'll have to wait and see. That's just kind of my intention, right? That's why I'm dollar cost averaging. But again, I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Now, personally for me as well, when I take a look at it, am I still thinking about maybe the hypothetical idea of 25 cents? Well, I mean, it is around a 40x from here, and the market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around 3.5 billion. Like, it's still nothing that would necessarily, I think, kind of surprise me too much, considering what other layer 1 blockchains have reached, and that is even without having an altcoin season. However, if it just went to like $1 billion in market cap for whatever reason, like, I'm not going to be necessarily complaining about that. That's my perspective. I mean, as of right now, the way I take a look at it is that altcoins that aren't generally known to have the best fundamentals, they're having a pullback. But then also at the same time, altcoins that are often considered to have good fundamentals, they're also having a pullback. So if in both instances, generally, in both sort of sections, they're having a pullback, what am I going to be focusing on? I'm going to be focusing on projects that I'm a fan of and the ones that I find pretty compelling to me fundamentally. That's about it. Because we take a look at, let's say, like a random meme coin somewhere out there, right? it's also having a pullback. But what's also having a pullback? Casper. So if they're both having a pullback, what am I going to be focusing on? Of course, I'm going to be focusing on the ones that I actually like, fundamentally speaking. So this is just like a general event. It's not only just Casper, right? Many things are having a pullback. Just take a look at Bitcoin. My perspective is that, like, let's say I really want a pair of jeans, and then I walk inside a store. Let's say everything in that store has a discount for whatever reason, like the jeans, the tank top, the t-shirt, the jackets, the socks, like just a bunch of things are having a discount, let's say, in that store. If let's say that is the case, and the jeans that I want is having a discount, would I suddenly be like, oh wow, it had a discount. What happened? Did it become bad? Oh no, I don't want it anymore. I'm going to wait till the discount is removed. I don't know why I would do that. Now, that's talking about, apparel at a store, but I'm saying that's just kind of my perception if I'm trying to buy jeans or something like that. So my kind of also perception is this, right? When it comes to, let's say, this flannel right here that I'm using, the moment I bought it, the moment I opened it, the moment I used it, the value, it just automatically pretty much depreciated. There's never a way that I could ever get what I got this for, right? If I were to, let's say, resell it for whatever reason. There is no chance that this is going to experience a flannel season or like a altcoin season, but for flannels. No. I mean, unless I became a rock star or celebrity, I maybe, did my autograph or something like that, then who knows, right? But I'm not going to be a rock star, and I'm clearly not a celebrity. So then at the same time, I'm not going to be able to recoup, what I got this for, basically, right? However, when it comes to this space, let's say, I'm just going to use an example. When Bitcoin is at around 90 grand, is it that way forever? If let's say the market conditions change, that could also change, right? No matter what happens to the market in the next couple months, this flannel right here, because it's not a collector's item, I'm not a celebrity, I'm not a rock star, it's not going to change. It's just only going to go pretty much hypothetically down, right? I mean, sure, I use it or not, I just watch it depreciate, that's it. When it comes to the project, sure, it could go down, but is it that way forever? That's just my perception. It's different than this flannel, which it's not going to experience a altcoin season of sorts, right? It's just not. There's just no way it's ever going to go back up again, right? At least in my situation. So that's kind of the difference I have right there when it comes to a project, because some of my friends out there, they like to tell me that, oh, if they buy a pair of jeans, sure, the value goes down, but then they say that, oh, if they get a project and then it goes down, oh, it's kind of like the pair of jeans. But I sometimes think it's not the way I would perceive it, just because when it comes to apparel, it works a little bit differently because, how can I ever get what I got this for back? That's the way to take a look at it. Whereas if let's say this was a project, it went down, who knows, maybe there's an altcoin season, it could do something a little bit different. That's kind of my perception. And also on top of that, I think sometimes within this space, the feeling is a little bit more amplified because when I buy this flannel, there's no portfolio tracking the value of this in real time, right? If that was the case, then I'd probably be like, oh, wow, it'd probably be a different case, right? The feeling would be a little bit different before I buy, shirts or jeans or something like that. Because then if I'm tracking everything and I'm seeing everything just depreciate, the feeling's a little bit different. But when it comes to a project, I'm literally tracking it in real time. Like the price chart's moving. I take a look at the portfolio. I see the percentages going down. I see what it's doing every 24 hours and all this. It's a little bit of a different feeling. Imagine if there was no way for me to track my holdings. I could only check it like every once a month. Then, of course, the sentiment would be completely different, right? But that is not the case. But again, when it comes to this flannel, the reason why I don't have those type of feelings is because there's no way for me to track it in terms of value in real time. So yes, I feel like sometimes just because I can track the value of something like in a portfolio, the feeling is a little bit more amplified. Even though in the grand scheme of things, the value of this flannel also hypothetically went down when I purchased it, or should I say after I purchased it, right? So it's kind of no different, but then just one I can track, one I cannot. But then the thing is, one is going to basically just stay kind of down. But then the other one, who knows, it could maybe have an altcoin season. I'm just saying, who knows, right? So this is why I'm still staying patient. Ultimately, I'm still waiting. Do I know when there's going to be an altcoin season? Absolutely not. Like, I can't control that. I can't control the market at all. Like, for instance, if I take a look at Casper, there's a bunch of holders. So can I control what happens? Absolutely not. Can I control what happens at the market? No. The only thing I can do is control myself. I'm just going to be waiting, staying patient, and that's about it. Because if there is, let's say, even an altcoin season, I just want to know that, I've just been holding and waiting the entire time. that's about it. But you know what? Only time will tell. I can't control the markets, but as of right now, I'm still staying patient. My reaction is just that, you know what? What can I do about it? But I'm still gonna stick with the projects that I am a fan of. Now, I do not only just hold Casper, by the way, right? I mean, there's other projects too that I'm holding. And quite frankly, a bunch of other projects that I've been holding have done historically, even despite the pullback, a lot more dynamic than what Casper has done, because Casper hasn't really done much. But I'm saying, I'm still holding it anyways. And yeah, who knows? Only time will tell, but that's just my point of view, because sometimes during an altcoin season, things just randomly do something for whatever reason. So, yeah, sure, some other projects that I've been holding have done some things, historically speaking, but when it comes to this, it hasn't really done much. But who knows? Hypothetically, things could be different during altcoin season, so I'm just still staying patient, holding, and just waiting, and that's pretty much about it. And I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you all have a nice day. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.